be safe and not shot down. Will somebody please tell me where the landing pads are being built, or give us the money and we'll get the architects and artists together and we'll start building them like in the movies, but make it real. We can stimulate the economy with more jobs and more profits than during any hot or cold war time by stimulating the space program without the mandate to weaponize space. That's what this is about. Okay, I'm going on. Security. Security. So many of us come from fear. I came from fear coming here. But we come from fear because of our experiences growing up to this point. And look around the world. We're so lucky. We've got clothes, we've got food, we've got rooms to stay in, we've got cars, we got here. The world is suffering. I don't know about you, but I've been to these countries where I've walked down the street and a little boy with his mother living in a corrugated cardboard handed me a ring. The ring was from a can that somebody had given him. People are suffering around the world. We have to stop this. We have the technology to do it, and this issue gives us the solution to it. So now we have security that's going to be based not on more weapons, but on collaborative ventures in the highest of technologies and in the highest of security that's based on sharing of information. The information exists, but it's all classified. So now we have a chance we have the technology. If you go to a map, there's a map I almost showed here from it's called the Global Incidence, the website, globalincidence.map.com. It's a live map, and you can see all the earthquakes and weather things and gang wars, and you can even get the terrorist threat, and you can sign up for more of a security part of information. It's for the public. The information's out there. We can even get to it, the Global Incidence Map, globalincidencemap.com. Amazing. And there are a lot of live maps. All the information's out there. It's how it's used and whether we participate or not and demand that this war game stop so that we can have our visitors come in and learn and share the information. So let me go on. Energy. Of course, there are many experts here. I'm not a technical expert, but look at the energy sources and look at the information that we're going to be able to get from when the craft are allowed to come in for us and our scientists. I know of about 500 of them that have models that they want to build. Imagine what we're going to learn when they come in safely and we can actually not have to go down 15 levels underground, and I'm told if I go, I can't get out. The energy sources are there, and we don't need this oil business and fossil fuels destroying our planet and the indigenous culture covered with oil. How dare them get away with that? Stop it. And this is how we're going to stop it. The last one on this page, acknowledge that we are not alone in the universe. This is in a treaty. I'm not alone in the universe, that there are cosmic cultures that will import allies for our security and development, and that our national and international policies must reflect this reality. This is in a treaty. This has to go. We have to really deal with this on our kind of intelligence kind of level. Finally, I'm going to turn the page here. I think. Yes, okay. Now, this is, there's this and one little other page of the parties, and this part's so important. The rest is treaty stuff. Okay, in this one, excuse me, I'm not to be emotional because, we women are too emotional and shouldn't be this way. Okay. Acknowledge that from the beginning of the nuclear weapons testing, terrestrial craft have demonstrated a capability to selectively shut down communications or the power of participating in operational units. They've appeared over ICBM fields in several countries, causing non-destructive failure of dozens of ICBMs, taking them out of the operational status for days. Well, after the Disclosure Project, in fact, in September, you heard about Leslie Kane's wonderful international press conference. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about the military one that took place on September 27th. I think that's the date of 2010 where Robert Salas Haynes came public, and Salas, of course, said there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that these craft have come in a dangerous way or in a threatening way to this planet. They've just displayed what they can do by shutting down our missile silos. Missiles. This other newspaper article's talking about more missiles, but they can shut them down. I mean, what is going on? This is such a waste of time. They're in total denial. They need psychiatric care. These people that... And the next one, realize that the demonstrated capability of extraterrestrial cultures from the multiverse, you like that new word, the universes. Von Braun used to say the universes. We need to find out who we are in the universes. The multiverse, to neutralize any missile or nuclear capability is in itself not a threat message, but does serve notice of our limited understanding of physics and clearly dangerous consequences of continuing to use destructive technologies. I mean, have these guys not noticed what's going on? Next one, affirm the possibility of reclaiming the peaceful future of humankind in a safe environment on Earth is intimately linked with curbing our violence towards each other and Earth, and with preparation to survive as Gaia heals herself, and that the council to support the cosmic civilizations thousands of years our senior would be exceedingly helpful. Well, duh. Okay. Next, note that every class of space-based weapons, including weapons of mass destruction or precise destruction, is a symbol of fear, of our fear, for which violence provides no remedy. Remember that book, Missile Envy? You know, the comparison. What do they look like? I mean, this is about fear. Next, recognize that space must forever be free of man-made hazards and must be a passageway to the secrets of our past and the challenges of our future. Yes. These parties, again, are inspired by the great prospects of Earth taking its rightful place in the cosmos and citizens of off-Earth realms sharing the fruits of their cultures with humankind. Yes. Reaffirm that preventing placement of space-based weapons will avert resulting consequences, risks, and dangers to peace on Earth and peace in space. Believe that the world cooperation in space will contribute to developing mutual understanding and to strengthening security based on a new form of verification and enforcement. Other treaties didn't get passed because they said, well, we can't verify what's going on. Well, guess what? We have the technology now, and everybody knows what's going on. And in the technology in the military-industrial complex, they know a whole lot more than we do. Everybody knows what's going on. There are no secrets. I addressed the CIA one time. I was invited. They invite activists for different things, and they give you a couple $100, and then you address like the 40 top managers of CIA who are all named George. And the title of my speech was, you can't keep secrets anymore. And I invited a friend of Jim Channon's to come up, and I got them up the elevator in the Xerox building, of course. It wasn't the CIA. And we had a computer going, and I had like 100 people sending messages into this meeting. And the messages, of course, were all about peace and how the CIA shouldn't keep secrets anymore, blah, blah, blah. This was 100 years ago now. But the question that I was asked was, how did you do this by this group? And I said, well, I used your elevator and your operator, and we hooked up the computer to your system. Well, now we're all hooked up to computers. You can go on the internet and find almost any kind of information. It's bizarre. Everybody knows you can't keep secrets anymore. Joke. Okay, so now we have new forms of verification and enforcement that applies the latest tools of technologies for observation, information, cooperative relations, building trust and transparency. Well, what I'm really talking about here, the new enforcement is based on cooperative ventures. Enforcement used to be done with weapons. But how do you end up now not having enemies? You make them a friend, or you walk away. You don't have to have them in communication with you. I mean, you don't have to have them attacking you. You don't have to have weapons. In fact, you have to have enhanced communication, or get a divorce without having the big fight, you know? You can enforce things now by cooperative ventures in the highest of technology. You're in space. We're in space on Spaceship Earth, but they're in space on space stations with all kinds of technologies about to be put into space. So cooperating is the enforcement. It is the transparency because you're working together. If I'm working with you and I know what you're doing, I'm being transparent with you. You see, I can't be shut up. So I can communicate with you. And you can communicate with anybody. My formula is you're 3 or 4 people away from anybody you want to meet. And it works. Think about it. You want to go meet somebody, you're 3 or 4 people away from that person. Okay, so there's new forms of verification because we have the technology to see and get the information for what everybody's doing, and we're building cooperative ventures in space. That's all that's there now. And I'll go on with that in a minute. Understand that this space treaty is now verifiable and enforceable via applying monitoring, observation, and information sharing technology, both existing and forthcoming. These parties are inspired by the great prospects of benefits and opportunities for stimulating economy, jobs, products, and services to solve urgent and potential problems of humans, of the environment, of animals. It's written here that includes it all, the problems of humans and the rest of the biosphere. We have the technology to solve those problems. It's called space-based and space-age technologies and information sharing. Recognize that our space assets can be protected only by mutual cooperation and verification, and that this treaty will accomplish this objective. And you know, without this treaty, we can't do it. It's not going to happen. So now we go on to the end of the parties' agreement. We realize that we are one. Imagine that showing up in a treaty. Imagine we are one interconnected and independent and interdependent human species, and we are determined. You and I are the parties to this treaty, by the way. We are determined to live in peace with all our neighbors on Earth and in the universes. Are we not? So, we go on to say, affirm that this is the policy of the parties of this treaty to permanently ban all space-based weapons and to proceed into space cooperatively. We are convinced that this treaty will further the purposes and principles of the Charter of the United Nations. It fits. Now we go on, and this is really treaty-ese, but it's so important. The first part of it is details, the second part is just treaty stuff, but the first I'll go over with you. In Article 1, and this is now for the nation states to sign. The nation states are who sign these treaties. We're parties to it, but the nation states sign it. Each nation state signing and ratifying this Outer Space Security and Development Treaty of 2011 shall implement a ban on the research, development, testing, manufacturing, and deployment of all space-based weapons. Now, implement the ban on research. Research, I want to just let you know, is a key word here, because you will hear, we're only doing this research. It's merely research. Well, research can include development, deployment, launching of these weapons. So, second one, implement a ban on the use of space-based weapons, the purpose of which is to destroy or damage objects or beings located in space. In other words, we can't shoot them down in space. Again, we're not dealing with Earth right now. We know we want to, but this is the step towards that. This is achievable. Next, determine any current research, development, testing, production, manufacturing, and deployment of all space-based weapons. Terminate it. We have to end this. We really have to end this. Each state signatory to this treaty shall support and encourage other nation states to sign, ratify, and implement this outer space treaty. It's called the Outer Space Security